Hello everybody, Sir Leon here and welcome back to another mathematics video. In this video we will be examining the key concept of changing the subject of the formula. And at the end of this video you should be able to rearrange the subject, rearrange the formula and make whatever they ask you the subject. So let's head into some details as to how we go about doing this. And a key thing to remember when we are changing the subject is to always maintain balance. Now perform the same operation on both sides of the equation to keep it balanced. It's like if you have a scale and on one side of the scale you have 10 pounds of potato and on the other side of the scale you have 10 pounds of potato as well. And the important thing is to maintain balance. If I take off 3 pounds from this side, then that means the scale will weigh on this side. So to keep the balance, I must take off 3 as well on this side. So whatever you do on one side of the equation, you should do on the other side to keep it balanced. Because the key thing is to keep it balanced, as the name is in the word equation, which has the word equal in it. So keep it balanced. And there are many ways we can go about keeping it balanced. And we'll look at that when we head into some examples. And the next thing to remember is to rearrange in logical steps. Move terms involving the variable to one side of the equation. So if you want to make, let's say, x the subject, and you have more than one terms with x, so you move all of the terms with x on one side. Preferably you want to move it on the left side because it's easier to read like that. It doesn't matter though. So you want to move all of that on one side and then you move all the other terms on the other side. And there are some key things that you must remember when you are moving, and it goes back to the whole balancing of the equation. With all of that being said, let's start off with a very simple example. So this example says, given y is equal to 2x plus 5, make x the subject of the formula. So given that y is equal to 2x plus 5, and we want to make x the subject of the formula, meaning x is the variable that we want to isolate by itself. So we'll take everything surrounding x, everything other than x, we'll leave x by itself. So that's the first thing we want to take over. We want to take over the 5. So I'll work this here 2 ways and you will decide which way is best for you. So let me draw down a line to indicate that I will work this 2 ways. So this is done similar, not similar, it's similar to solving. It's the same thing to solving actually. So let's go. So the first thing we may want to do, we may want to get rid of this 5. So this 5 is here. So to get rid of this 5, we can subtract the 5 from this side of the equation. So because we subtracted 5 from here, the balance is off. So we must subtract 5 from this side as well. So we'll end up with y subtract 5 is equal to 2x, and 5 subtract 5 will give you 0. Then of course we want to get rid of this 2. So what we can do to get rid of this 2, we can divide this side by 2 because this 2 is multiplying. And once again, to keep the balance, we should also divide this side by 2. So when we divide this here by 2, this 2 will cancel out with that 2. And we'll be left with x is equal to y subtract 5 all over 2. And we can rearrange this and put this as x is equal to y subtract 5 divided by 2. It doesn't matter which side you put, you can flip it wrong, but they both will read the same thing. So that is one way in which we can change the subject of the formula. And the other way is to just take over. So let me write back the equation. So y is equal to 2x plus 5. We want to make x the subject again. So we will take over everything surrounding the x. So we have this 5 here. So this 5 is adding. So when we take that 5 over the equal sign, whatever operation it was doing, it will do the opposite when it goes over. So if this 5 is added, when we take it over to subtract, so we'll have y subtract 5 is equal to 2x. And last but not least, this 2 is multiplying the x. So when we take it over, the 2 will divide. So we'll have y minus 5 all divided by 2. And that is equal to x. So x will be equal to y minus 5 all divided by 2. And that is how we make x the subject of the formula there. So you will decide which way you want to use going forward. I prefer this way, but this way is also excellent as well. So let's look at this other example. So the example says, given y is equal to 4a minus 7, all divided by 2, make a the subject of the formula. So we want to make this a the subject, so we want to take everything surrounding the a. So we'll have y is equal to 4a subtract 7 all divided by 2. So first of all, we see this 2 is dividing everything on this side of the equation. So what we will do, we'll take over this 2. And since it's dividing, when we take it over the cosine, it will multiply. So we'll have 2 multiplied by y, which will give us 2y is equal to 4a minus 7. And you see we have this 7 here subtracting. So when we take over the 7, it will add. So we'll have 2y plus 7 is equal to 4a. So 4a, so the 4 is multiplying the a. So we take it over, it will divide. So you'll have 2y plus 7 all divided by 4 is equal to a. Hence a is equal to 2y plus 7 all divided by 4. And that's how we make a the subject of this formula. So let's carry on to another example. So this one says make z the subject of the formula. So the difference in this question, we see we have a z here and we have another z here. So what we need to do, we need to simplify this for us and then bring all the z on one side of the equation. So what we can do, we have this y outside here, so we can distribute this y throughout this equation to make this a bit simpler. So y times z would be yz plus y times 10 would be 10y, and that is equal to t minus 2z. So we have a z here, we have a z here. Of course, they are not alike, but they both have z's together. So what we will do, we will bring all of the terms with z on one side of the equation. So we'll bring over this, and I'll put it with this term here. So I'll have yz. So this is subtracted. When I take it over, it will add plus 2z, and that is equal to t. And I take over this 10y now. This will become minus 10y. So now I have a scenario in which I have yz and I have 2z, and I cannot put them together because they're adding and I cannot just merge them. So I think of an operation, or I think of something that I can do to turn these two z's that I have into one. And what I can do, I can factorize the z from the two terms, and that will take out the z and I will have one z remaining. So I factor out the z, meaning I'll pull out the common factor. So this will become z. When I pull out z from here, this will simply be left with y plus, when I pull out z from here, I will be left with 2. And that is equal to t minus 10y. I'll 1 z alone, so the z is multiplying here. And of course, if I distribute this z, I will end up with what I have at the top here. So I did not change anything about the equation. I just factorize it out and change it to express it in a different way, but it's the same way. So this here is multiplying. So when I take it over, it will divide. So I'll have z is equal to t subtract 10y all divided by y plus 2. And that is how I make z the subject of the formula. All I did was I put all the z's on one side and I factor out the z, and then I just take over the set that was multiplying, and when it goes over, it will divide. So let's look at another question. So this one says, make r the subject of the formula. So I have r here, and I have it's in a bracket and it's being squared. So what I want to do, I want to take over this square first of all. So I can either square it both sides, or I can just take over the square and it will do the opposite to what it was doing, and the opposite of square would be square root. So this will be 2r subtract 9 is equal to, when I take over the square, it becomes the square root of y. And then next I want to take over the 9. So the 9 is subtracting. So when I take it over, it will add. So I'll have 2r is equal to the square root of y plus 9. Remember, this square root cannot incorporate this 9 inside because the square root is just over the y alone. So I have the square root of y plus 9. And last but not least, the 2 is multiplying. So when I take it over, it will divide. So I'll have r is equal to the square root of y plus 9 all divided by 2. and this is how we make R the subject of the formula. So just remember, you have to go through the logical steps. You want to see something that is doing something to the entire equation, and you want to start taking over those numbers first, or those terms first, until you're left with the thing that you want to make the subject by itself. So with that, this has brought me to the end, and I trust that you have a good understanding of how to change the subject of the formula. In some cases, when you have two of the terms, you will have to put them together and factorize, and then you will take over and make the thing that you factor out the subject. So I must leave some questions for you to practice on your own as homework, and these are two questions that should test your understanding of changing the subject of the formula. So with that, this has brought me to the end, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.